Banks and institutional traders have been using this exact chart type to spot where big money is flowing. And today, I'm showing you how to set up volume footprint charts in TradingView to trade like they do and make money. Alright, so the very first thing you want to do is that you want to open up a clean chart in TradingView. And as you can notice, right now I'm pretty zoomed in on the chart. And I recommend, if you want to be able to use the volume footprint effectively, I recommend to actually have a pretty zoomed in chart, more zoomed in than in general. But I will talk all about that later. What I also can mention already is that the volume footprints works on all time frames. As you can see right now, I'm looking at Bitcoin. You can see up here, I'm looking at Bitcoin and I'm on the daily time frame. But you can use this one on the 1 hour, 15 minute, it doesn't really matter. However, what I do recommend is that you actually use a market that has sufficient liquidity. So you want to have a market which has a lot of trading. If you have a very small altcoin or something like that, the volume footprints can be a little bit more misleading. And now to open up the volume footprint chart, you want to go up here to where it says candles. If you're using a candlestick chart, so you press right here. And then you want to go down to where it says volume footprint and click right here. And as you can see, guys, just like that, our volume footprint has appeared on the chart. Now, and this is very important, if you are not able to open up the volume footprint, it's probably because you have a TradingView plan that does not support the volume footprint chart. And as I'm recording this video, I think volume footprint is only available for TradingView Premium, or maybe it was essential, but personally I'm using TradingView Premium. But guys, luckily here, if you want to try out TradingView Premium for free for 30 days, I actually have a special link for that. And I will make sure to leave the link both in the top of the description as well as the pinned comment. So make sure to use it so you can follow along in this video. But alright, so now then, what does the volume footprint chart actually measure and how do we read volume footprint? And in very simple terms, the volume footprint simply measures buying and selling volume. So what you will be able to see is that now for each candle, so for example, this massive green candle right here, we have one sort of red bar to the left, and we also have a green bar here to the right. So for every single candle on this chart, we have both a red bar and a green bar. And the green bar is measuring buying volume and the red bar is measuring selling volume. And remember, because we are currently on the daily time frame, it means that each bar here represents the buying and selling volume within the same day. And I recommend to think about the buying and selling volume as buying and selling pressure. But to really make sure that we understand the difference between buying and selling volume, I do think that this image right here can help a lot. This image right here is an image of a bid-ask spread. And this is just an example. This is probably Bitcoin back when we were at $100,000. But you can see that the green side here is what we call the bid side, and this right here is buyers that want to buy Bitcoin. You can see to the right here, you can see how many Bitcoin buyers want to buy and at what price. So we have the bid side, which is the buyers, and we have the ask side, which is the sellers. And what we mean by buying volume is basically when a buyer buys from the selling side, because this will push the price up. And what we mean by selling volume is when a seller decides to sell to the buy side, because this pushes the price down. I know in the beginning this can be a little bit hard to understand, but I hope that this image makes you understand a bit better, you know, what drives the market. Are the sellers taking from the buy side, or are the buyers taking from the sell side? This is an easy way to think about buying and selling volume. But alright, so now when we have at least a basic understanding of selling and buying volume, now let's take a look at step by step how to read the volume footprint. And let's actually begin here by taking a look at sort of this block right here. What you hopefully can see, first of all, you see that on the red box, it says 976. That means that we had 976 in selling volume at this price area. So when the price was right here. And it also says 1.07K here, the green part, which means that we had around almost 1.1 thousand buying volume. So when the price was in this area, we actually had more buying pressure compared to selling pressure. And this right here is a bullish sign for that specific area. So for each of these sort of blocks here, you can read the buying and selling pressure. So for example, for this specific candle, you can see that on this block, we had more buying volume compared to selling volume. On this block, we also had more buying volume compared to selling volume. And you can see that no surprise, during this candle, we actually saw a massive price increase for Bitcoin. The next thing we need to understand, and now I want you guys to shift the attention to the sort of white boxes that are below each candle. You can see that we have a total and we have something called delta, and delta will be very important to understand for later in this video, but let's begin here what total means. Total is very simple. That is the total amount of volume during that candle. So when we're looking at Bitcoin, we're talking about the total amount of Bitcoin traded. If you look at a stock, we're talking about the total amount of that particular stock traded, and so on and so on. But the delta here is, in simple terms, the difference between the buying volume and selling volume. So if we have a green delta, it means that during that candle, we had more buying volume compared to selling volume, which is a bullish sign. And if we had a red delta, like for example, this previous candle, you can see that this previous candle was actually a green candle, but a red delta. That means that even though the price went up during that candle, we had a little bit more of selling volume. And that is actually possible. And that is important to know when you are later going to use the volume footprint to analyze charts. The next concept we need to understand is something called point of control, or for short POC. And point of control is much more simple than it sounds. The POC is simply the area where most volume got traded. And this is marked by a black window right here. So you can see for this green candle, the point of control was right here. For this red candle, the point of control was right here. You can see all of these black boxes are where most volume got traded during that particular candle. Another concept you need to understand is something called the value area. And it's very hard to see on my chart right now. I'm not sure you guys can see this, but we have a slight black arrow right here, and we have a slight black arrow down here. And between these two arrows, so this whole area right here for the green candle, this is known as the value area. And in this area, 70% of the total volume in that candle got traded in this area. And the upper limit of this area is known as the value area high, or for short VAH. And the lower limit of this area is known as the value area low, or for short the VAL. But alright guys, so at this point you know how to find the volume footprint, and now you also know how to actually read the volume footprint. We know that we're talking about buying volume or selling volume, or in other words, we're talking about buying pressure and selling pressure. And you also know about what the different numbers actually mean. So now guys, we are actually ready to change a few settings. And to change the settings, alright, so this video was actually just a very short clip from our full volume footprint course right here on YouTube. To watch the full course, simply click or tap on the screen right here. I hope I will see you all over there very, very soon.